Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with a new painting tutorial, and this time I'm going to explain again another base. Okay, you see the bases I did for the Daughters of Cain that I'm painting for Warhammer Underworld. So this is the war one, and I'm painting this type of desertic yellowish sand and bases for these ladies. So I'm going to explain how to do this type of desertic bases, and I will start applying Zamesi Desert. Okay, so this is a very yellowish sandy color. I will put it here on my palette. Okay, like this. Okay, so the first part, this part I will explain the base, and later on I will do as well the lady on a tutorial, so keep tuned if you want to see how I do the lady. I will do the ladies, when I go to the lady, I will do it in this color scheme. Okay, so it will be like steel, purples and the dark skin. Okay, so but in this tutorial I'm going to focus on the base. This have quite an interesting base with all these elements, the rock, the statue. So I'm going to apply now first the Zamesi Desert, sorry. Yes, Zamesi Desert, I did it correctly. Okay, it's a very yellowish sandy color that will work perfectly for what I want to do here. Okay, so we apply that. I try to leave some of the details without covering, because in that way I see them easier later on when I need to paint them. But for the other, I will just apply it, and I will not be very concerned if I go on top of the rocks, because later on I will paint the rocks in different color. Okay, but remember, I will do everything in a very light yellowish and ivory colors. So you will, maybe the rocks and the sun will look very similar, but yeah, it's done in purpose. So I'm doing that, and I'm back for the next step. Okay, next step, I'm going to use what's called this ragga flesh, and I'm going to paint the stones with ragga flesh. Okay, as I said, I want to go for a pale almost ivory looking stones. Okay, I know maybe this will look very close one to each other, but in reality is what you expect, right? So I'm going to do that on all the stones, and I'm back for the next step. Okay, next I'm going to use one flesh, and I'm using this one because it's the one I have at this one, the wet palette, but you can use a sharp T1 or Screaming School. To be fair, I use these colors almost for the same things, and I'm going to paint the skulls and the different bones that you can find around here. Okay, you can see here we have the bottom part of a skull. Okay, so I paint them all, and I'm back. Okay, next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Seraphim Sepia on the whole base. Okay, we are going to wash all the parts with Seraphim Sepia. So let's take, although they look like small brushes, they are quite damaged at this stage, and you will see that this will give a nice shading. Again, I understand that this will homogenize a little bit more, even more, the different stones, but I don't dislike it. Okay, so I'm doing that. stones, and then we will weight the device before doing any further step. Okay, so you can see, just trying to avoid this falling anywhere. Be careful with the part where it's very flat. Okay, but normally vases have a nice texture, and you can see that even though we have applied similar colors on the washes, I think that are easy to distinguish the rocks from what is supposed to be the sun. Okay, so now I weighted this device and I'm back. Okay. Once the surfing sepia have dried, now I'm going to apply Morgwaeth Earthshade just on the rock. Like that. And we weighted this device. We are going now to do some dry brushing and highlights, so I need to wait that is completely dry before doing any further step. Okay. Again, I will try to avoid that it's pulling too much in some areas. I try to avoid that it's going into the sun. Okay, into the part that I want. So now I will weight this device and I'm back for the next step. Okay, this is how it looks like once we have done all the washes. And now I'm going to do a dry brushing, and I will start with racquer flesh. Okay, I'm going to focus the dry brush on the stones, on the rocks, okay, and try to avoid to go into the sand. Okay, the sand I will leave it more likely as it is. Okay, I'm just right. This one can be quite heavy because the color is quite close to what we have applied, although after the two washes, but we can apply this. Okay. Sorry. And this will pick up all the corners, all the different edges of the rock. Okay, this is good. And next I'm going to use even a lighter color. I'm going to use now Wraith Bone. We try to this is good enough. Okay, now it's time to do some other details and finish the base. I will take now, well, not this one, sorry, this one, push up the bone. and I will highlight the schools. This step is quite important, so we have the schools a little bit more visible. And in that case, for example, that the wash did not go into the eye, I will take a little bit of Agvax. Put it in the eye. Okay, and I will remove the excess a little bit. Okay, like that. And now I will finalize. I will not add white because I want to leave them quite aqua. And now the last step, I'm going to paint the plants. To paint the plants, I'm going to use an off green. I think I will use at the end. We can use this one. This can be interesting, we can give an interesting contrast. I'm going to use Elysian green. Okay. And with Elysian green, I'm going to do all these types of ivy that we have on these bases. This does not have any type of tip or tweak, it's just carefully with the brush sideways most of the time, picking up the different plants that we have around. Okay. And with this step I will finalize the work on the base. And if we want to wash on these ones, you have to be very careful that you are not dirtying the rocks, because you want to keep the rocks quite greenish. Still want to give, though we have these green plants glowing, I still want to give the impression of a quite dry environment. So what you can do to give a little bit of depth, we can take Yes, Gannothian camo shade, or how it's called, this one. The camo shade wash. And we apply it over the green. Okay. And now we have the base done. So this is just part 0, to call it in a way, where I explain how I do the bases for these ladies. Okay, most of them are done in the same way. The only difference is one with a small snake, but to be fair, you can see these are more or less the same bases. Here I did a little more contrast on the rocks, because there is more, but you can see it's more or less on the same way. Okay, so this is finalizing this first part 1 or 0, to call it that way, and then I will come back and start painting the this lady, okay, this witch elf. So I hope you find this interesting. Please give a like if that is the case, share if you think other people can be interested, and as usual, thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.